Well, hi friends. How are we doing? Hello Twitch or hi on YouTube if you're watching the VOD. How we doing? Today's stream's gonna be a little bit different. I am testing out this bad boy. What's up? Haven't streamed with a webcam in forever, so I figured why not? Look, there's my little dog. She's just sleeping over there. Say hi to Nexus. But yeah, I figured why not? Hey Rachel, how we doing? I got the day off, so I was planning on doing the stream a little later tonight, but since we're just chilling and enjoying the day, I got all my chores done. Figured let's play some Fallout. I'm good, how are you? What you been up to today? Alright, cool. Hopefully volume and everything sounds good. The main goal is to kind of walk through more in like workshop mode, since the tour I posted on YouTube was just kind of like an edited, kind of put together thing. Oh, we got a Brahmin incoming. I did have to raise this fence because it was a tight squeeze. Let's see if I raised it high enough. Keep going. You can do it. Ma'am, can you tell your Brahmin to walk inside, please? Or are you just gonna stand in front of my entrance? Okay. Thanks. I see how it is. Like I said, I've been sharing a lot of this build on here and on YouTube. But since my tour on YouTube was a little bit more cinematic, I want to kind of go through in workshop mode and just kind of show how everything is put together. Let me get into, oops, wrong button. Let's get into free cam real quick. Between playing Starfield and Pokemon Legends, a lot of people playing Starfield right now. Has it made a comeback? Maybe I'll give it another try. I played it when it first came out, but I wasn't a huge fan. Sorry, I can't do two things at once here. Let's go like 5. Very cool. I can go and workshop in this. Yeah. Oh. There we go. Oh, but it doesn't highlight anything in free cam. Gotcha. Okay, that's fine. The more you know. Oh my god. Alright, I guess we'll just walk through normally, which is fine. The first thing I put together is this extremely junky fence. I forget the mod that gave me this. Hold on, I can look it up in like 2 seconds. Hello? Where's the description? Oh, so weird. Oh, it's literally just called Workshop Junk Wall Pack. So it's a combination of a bunch of like vanilla junk walls as well as CVC. But a lot of these like put together pieces are from that junk wall pack or whatever. So it's a combination of a lot. Kuro Tab was also used for the fence. But I just made a decent like circular border around most of the settlement. My favorite part is right here. There's actually a defense post right here. I don't know why I can't grab it from this side. Oh, it's because there's a settler on it. But I think the guard post is from Thematic and Practical. but it fit so perfectly right underneath these billboards here. And it's like the perfect kind of lookout spot. So I thought that piece fit in well. And then these hedges were already here, so I also used some other hedges just to kind of fill in some gaps and stuff. I threw in this iBot machine. Oh, that's nice. It's not where you go. I threw that in here since I kind of have like a robot theme going on here too. Another guard post leading towards this little mole rat den. Hey, Gravity. And then there's a little back exit to the settlement here too. I wanted to have some sort of wood scrap area, so I threw in this little like wood scrap pieces here. I think that's also from the junk wall pack. Some CVC carpenter stuff, and then I believe these are from Cabin in the Woods. I could be wrong. You're floating. There you go, buddy. And then the axe, I can't remember. Probably Kuro Tab. Oh, it actually snaps in there. That's kind of cool. It's either Cabin in the Woods, Port Royal, one of those. It's one of the master plan mods that gave me this junk. But yeah, a lot of these. This is from that junk wall pack too. I can't remember where this defense post is. This is from CVC. And then tell me these shopping cart turrets aren't perfect for a scrapyard build. Like I found them in USO and I was like, okay, maybe you can stay at USO. Over right into the settlement, we have this scrappy signpost that totally contradicts itself, but I love it. And then just some junk and trash around it. This way leads to the trading post. That way leads to the workshop and storage area. And then over this way we have this like caravan rest area. It looks great when there's actually a caravan here, but for some reason when I went to record they all decided I don't want to be here anymore, and they left. Nobody's come back. So it's kind of empty right now, but it's pretty simple. Just this caravan post you get from the Bunker Hill quest. And then I added this little kind of sleeping area back here with this CVC prefab. Yeah, I got some board games down here and some comics, reading materials, smoking spot, and then just a couple sleeping and shelving arrangements. Perfect for just visiting traders and caravanners. I love a good smoke spot. If I don't know what to put somewhere, I will immediately throw just like an ashtray and a pack of cigs. You'll notice that a lot in my builds. Over this way is, don't mind these floating objects by the way, they are actually my lighting effects from SOE. They are like my finishing touch for every build. So once I finish everything, I throw in these guys just to make everything kind of blend into its environment a little bit better. They can be very lag inducing though, so it is one thing I always say, just wait till the end and try to squeeze in as many as you can. And if you can't have them all exactly where you want them, then it is what it is. But this area came out super cool. I had the idea to make this a smelting like area from like part 1 of building this. I just didn't exactly know how I was going to put it all together. So this has all kind of been here a while, this fire pit and stuff. What took me a bit to find, I forget where I got, I think Kuro Tab, one of the mods, gave me these bellows. I thought that was a good addition. But I didn't know how I was going to hang the smelting pots themselves, because nothing I could think of made sense. Like I tried to work up a pulley system with some wires and it looked cool, but I just didn't know how a settler would like operate it. I was like, this is molten like steel and stuff. I wanted somewhere that could melt down like junk items and such. So I was like, I can't just like handle this with like a rope and pulley. So I found this mechanical arm from I think Kuro Tab. And I was like, oh, well, that might fit perfectly on that little smelting pot, which it did. And then to make it look even more like functional, I added this like engine piece too. So it looks like it can actually have like some mechanical ability. But I think it came out super cool. I added these like quarry fences last minute too, just to protect settlers from walking in, even though it's broken and they're still gonna walk into it, but you know, they're there. And then I added the little armor workbench. This is actually from Busy Settlers, I think. Either Busy Settlers or Housekeeping, one of the two. I love those mods. And a settler is assigned to this to look like he's working on stuff, but I think he's deleted. Yep, there he is. He's lollygagging. We'll let it slip. We're not recording anymore. But he's supposed to be over here. And then I set up this kind of work area over here with a weapons workbench just squeezed into this CVC counter. And then I added a little desk over here because I was like, you can't put molten metal on to a wood surface. So I added this little desk. The oven mitt's a nice touch here for the hot stuff. These don't make a whole lot of sense, no. I wanted it to look like some sort of molds for these like bars that you get from scrapping the steel and stuff. And this was the best thing I could come up with. So these are actually floor vents from CVC that I sized down to fit the like ore or these pieces, whatever you want to call them. Ingots, that's the word. So let me see if I can find actually what that piece is without tearing all that up. I believe it's in here. Maybe it's in Snappy. Maybe it's not CVC. Did that say CVC? It did. Son of a bitch. Was it? Was it here? Oh, it was here. It's this one. It just looks weird in the menus. And then I sized that down. Like I said, does it make perfect sense? No. But it looks cool. And it fits in there, you know? An extra little cooking pot over here to look like more kind of just like smelting pots. And then I just shoved a bunch of different like boxes and stuff under there just to make it look more cluttered. And then of course, since it is a scrapyard, we just have piles of junk everywhere. CVC was a big help for this. Thematic and Practical was a huge help for this. So like a lot of the junk cars are either CVC or Thematic and Practical. There's one other mod that has some vehicles too, but I didn't use it much. And I just threw more junk into said vehicles. Over here, if you didn't spot him in the video that I posted, we have my little Easter egg in all my builds, which is Graham here. In this build, he is driving this little truck. I gave it a whole steering wheel and everything. The steering wheel's from a Kuro Tab, I think. And this chair is from CVC. And there he is, just grooving. Driving the pallet truck. Can I help you? And then, of course, we have this crane over here. It doesn't look super functional, but it is from Kuro Tab, I believe. And I just want it to look like they have some form of moving these vehicles around. And then, of course, just some more junk piles. A lot of this build was just like digging through menus and going, yeah, I'll throw that somewhere, and just throwing it somewhere. I really like this piece. I forget exactly. This is probably from the junk wall pack too. But this swing set is actually a really smart use of items here. So I threw that over here. Here is that guard post I was talking about. I believe it's from Thematic and Practical, but I could be wrong. And then I threw in this is technically a table, but it looks like a sideways door, so I shoved that in there too, just to make it look even more junky. Got some more stacked cars and clutter back here behind the warehouse. A little missing poster for dog meat since he's not here right now. And then this warehouse I plan on just being kind of like the main components storage. So the original plan for this settlement was, yes, a scrapyard. Where are you guys going? Hold on. They're all just having a great time. But it was less a scrapyard itself and more, well, where is the Minutemen going to store all of their like building materials and components? And I was like, well, if I'm gonna have like a scrap yard or a storage place for a bunch of junk and scrap, why not also make it someplace that trades in junk and scrap? So it's kind of dual purpose here. You can sell scrap and we can store it here, or you can buy some junk and scrap too. So that was kind of the thought going into this. So this storage warehouse is mostly for components. So it's all kind of scrapped materials and such. So these shelves, this whole shelf is actually a scavenging station, goodness, from Housekeeping or CVC, one of the two. And I really liked how it looked. It was already put together. It kind of had some sized up materials and stuff like that on it. So I went with that look over here, but this is all more kind of hand placed. So it looks the same, but different. Same shelf, just different kind of hand placed junk items and sized up materials. I threw some glass in this bin right here. Some mods, just little stuff. And the shelving is all from CVC. I just added these little marquee letters to some of the boxes, and they're all just different components. When I originally started, this was a process, by the way, putting all these letters on. It took me like a day's worth of time to finish putting together. When I started putting them on, I started going in alphabetical, and then I got to like, I think it was like copper or something, and I was like, you wouldn't store like heavy ass materials on the top shelf. So I kind of had to like include that thought process into it. So that's why like concrete, lead, all this kind of stuff is placed at the bottom, and then the lighter stuff is placed on top. And then I love this little red rocket poster here. I think it's from CVC. I just sized it to fit, with just some more junk and materials over here. A couple different sized up of these component boxes fit really nice on this shelf. Moving on, I guess we'll go this way. We got some water storage. We got some more stacked junk. All sorts of stuff back here. And then this truck was actually already here. I decided to make this kind of the power supply for the settlement, and I added this red windmill and generator back here just to make this look more realistically powered, because in-game, even like the in-game wiring doesn't make the most sense. Like we just have like power cables that somehow just connect just into the building, not like into a power supply box or like, you know, anything realistic, but you know, it just works. As Todd would say, it just works. So I wanted it to look more believable while still kind of dealing with the in-game whatevers, and I just kind of connected it to the building on this side because it just works. But this makes it look more realistic. I have this whole kind of fenced in power supply, and then this is from, I think, CVC. It's just some random road pile, but it actually worked perfect because it had another one of these power poles or like utility poles, like leaning. So I just connected a little power connector right on top of there and used that to connect all of this fun stuff. So now it at least looks more believable. We have some sort of like decent power supply here. Moving on to this way, we'll go up here in a minute. This is where the housing is at. We have this kind of scaffolding staircase I built last minute. I did have just a ladder here for the longest time, and I liked how the ladder looks, but realistically it was not usable, and I was getting kind of tired of having to like build a staircase to get up here, so I was like, screw it, let's throw in some scaffolding just because it's a little more junky. Kuro Tab had the perfect kind. I like how I mixed up the yellow version and this rusted version a little bit just to bring some more color in. And even this like extra scaffolding is also from Kuro Tab. It looks awesome, just kind of leaning up against this, kind of filling in the space and making it fit in the scrapyard a little bit better. Over this way, I did add one more extension to the building itself too. This is in one of the videos that I made, so you can check how this came together, and I think part 2 of this build on my channel. But it came out so cool. I didn't understand how there wasn't already a bathroom here, so I wanted it to look like it was already here in the first place. And I just kind of, yeah, put it together. This sign was a pain in the ass to make because this is all, the backing and the letters are from the Kuro Tab, but these letters are so much bigger. So I had to individually like size and place all of these letters, but it makes it look perfect. It fits so well. And since I added the ask for key inside post out here, there's actually a key inside too. I went all out. But the bathroom itself looks pretty cool. I tried to make it look as natural as I could, so I even put like these interior cell walls in here, just so it wasn't like brick backing. It looked more like a believable interior cell that was already here. And then of course I just loaded it up with some bathroom junk and clutter, even a urinal back in this corner. And I thought it looked pretty good. It looks like something that was already here in the game, but I added it. I didn't love how red the door looked. I was like, there's no way this door would stay this red for this long, so I added a little can of paint and stuff out here too, just to make it look like, hey, at least they're keeping up with the place. Following back around to the front, we have this really cool cart that I made. I wanted there to be more accessible things other than Brahmin to kind of like haul scrap around here. So I put this together. I kind of showed how I put it together in the past, but just for funsies. This little car frame is from CVC, so I just started with that. I think it's sized down too. And then I just added some flooring. And then this flooring piece is from CVC. I don't know if it'll let me select it, but that is from, I think it's under wooden. Yeah, it's just a triangle floor piece to help fit in like triangle shaped buildings and add-ons, but that fit perfectly right up front there. Oh, that's cool how it snaps too. That's actually super helpful. There's similar pieces in Thematic and Practical that I really like. And then we just added this Rust Devil scrap that's from Kuro Tab, as well as these wires. They're a little nav mesh weird, but this little wire spool to look like the reins if you were to connect it to a Brahmin or something, or even a robot. The ability is there. And then this little chair is just from CVC. I thought it fit perfectly onto there. And that's kind of it. After I threw on some railings and then threw in this cart from a Kuro Tab, it looked really good. The last step was just adding in some lean-to junk from CVC, just to look like they're hauling some scrap through the settlement. We'll head inside into this area here in a second. First, I want to check up on the roof. We're going to check out some of the houses and stuff up there. Most of this has been shown how I put it together either through the videos or some of my old Twitch VODs. So if you're interested in seeing how some of this was built or put together, definitely check those videos out. This is more just kind of a detailed workshop tour of the whole settlement. And since I've already shown most of these through like other videos and such, I'm just going to take a super quick walkthrough through here just to show some of the buildings and how they came together. This first building, super basic in here. We have a couch and chemistry station in this first floor. In every build I do, I try to make sure there's at least one of every workbench. So I needed to throw chemistry in here somewhere. It was the one that I didn't really include. So I figured I'd throw it in one of these houses up here where it's kind of more protected and out of the way. So this is a little chemistry workbench. Was thrown together with a few different things, mostly some CVC pieces. I threw in this crate into the counter right here just simply because I didn't want to decorate all the shelves. It was kind of a lazy move, but we'll just say it made it look more scrappy and roll with that. And then these are all just kind of different hand-placed junk items. This sink is from USO Wasteland, and I really liked it. What I really liked about this sink in particular is I spent a bunch of time doing some actual plumbing for this settlement. I'll share that in a second. But I did this building after said plumbing, and I did not feel like connecting the plumbing all the way into here. I could have, with this kind of rain catcher over here, connected it, but I didn't feel like doing it. So with this Woody sink, I just kind of threw a barrel down into it. That way it looks like you can take some of the water from said rain catcher or somewhere else in the settlement and just kind of install it into the sink itself, which I thought was a cool idea. I love using these magazines sized up for like throw blankets or even like, oh, I guess it's not going to work for me, but they even work as like awnings for doorways and stuff. I've done that with them in the past. So that looks cool there, kind of just thrown onto the back of the couch. And then upstairs, this is the one ladder that stayed because it does actually kind of function. It's from a Castle in the Sky, one of the master plan mods, but you can kind of hop up on it. Settlers obviously could not figure it out, but I can, and that's all that matters. We'll call this my room. And then up here, super simple bedroom kind of deal. I liked using these road signs for decoration just to fit the kind of scrapyard theme. And then we just got some storage, personalized effects like some comics and board games and such. I love a good bucket as a side table. I use it all the time, especially like around a fireplace. If you have like chairs around a fireplace, throw in a little bucket table to throw some smokes or something on. Always works. But we got a little bucket side table, and then I threw some like chems and other stuff up here since that chemistry workbench is downstairs. In this little seating area, I thought this magazine hidden under the newspaper looked cool. Kind of made the newspaper look a little different than it normally does. And I really like this kitchen or this bedroom. I like the different color palettes, the little flag plywood. I think this is from Kuro Tab. But just the color scheme and everything up here, I'm a big fan of. I think it looks nice. The next building we'll share is this one over here. I have a whole stream dedicated to this water pump that I made, as well as how I connected it to all of these irrigation systems above these kind of crop plots that I have. We have a little shower unit over here that is even connected to the plumbing. So if you want to see how that was put together, definitely check out that past VOD. You can tell which one it is because I think the thumbnail is a picture of the water pump itself. But I thought the whole idea behind the irrigation and crop systems looked cool up here. These floor pieces are actually from the mod Grounded. They have a lot of really cool, it's called arbor pieces. I'll show you what they look like because I'm obsessed with them and will definitely use them in a future build. Let me find, I always forget where Grounded is. There it is. So this arbor set here, it's vanilla shack pieces, but like the roofs and such are like mossy, overgrown bits. And I just think it looks so cool. I definitely want to utilize these more in other builds because I've always liked how they look. Very overgrown. Like these pieces are just simple floor tiles that I squeezed down into there. They even have wall pieces, just overgrown, everything. Big fan of these pieces. Definitely need to use them more often. So that's how these came together, and I just put I put a couple different plots or like crops in this one, and then just some mute fruit over in this one. And all these plants are not technically functional because you can only place those on dirt. I'm sure there's a way with Place Everywhere or something to do it, but these are actually just ones from a CVC. And I like these ones because they're like, they stay full grown and they look cool. It works. If it works, it works. And then inside this building is the bunk bed. I love the scaffolding bunk bed so much. This was another stream project. I think this was the first stream we did here at Red Rocket. We made this bunk bed. I spent like the whole stream making it, but it looks really good. I love how scrappy and put together it is. Let's go into workshop mode and I'll kind of share it. a highlighting effect. But all of these beds, it is a dummy bed, so it doesn't technically work. But I didn't want settlers to actually try to use this, so I stuck with the dummy beds so I could size them down and kind of fit them a little better. We have just like some furniture and boxes down here for this first level, and then I built up this size down scaffolding around to make the second bed. And I think these are just pallets that I sized down to fit into the top. And then over here I didn't like how open it was, so I threw on some plywood and this weapon rack. And then to decorate the weapon rack, I actually used, for this one at least, this is from Woody's. It's basically the pipes that I used for the irrigation, and I just sized it down to look like a little peg. I thought that was a fun idea. And then of course we just got some dresser and other kind of personal effects. Like I said, if I don't know where to put something or what to put on something, I just throw an ashtray and some smokes. But I love how this building came together. I threw in some crops and stuff down here too. I love how this kind of acts as like a mudroom to lead out to the crops. This building is the kind of mess hall. So downstairs it's just like the kitchen for the settlers that live up here. I like that this acts as kind of like a co-op. So a lot of settlers can live here and kind of like contribute and kind of live off what they can here. And then they can also run the scrapyard and the shop downstairs. I love how scrappy this kitchen came together. It is mostly CVC pieces. So a lot of the counters and tables are all from CVC. I built in this shelf back here and added this fish rack to hang some different supplies on. And then just kind of cluttered the crap out of it. We did this on one of the streams too. It might have been the bunk bed stream is when we started putting this together. The greenhouse kind of came together mostly off stream because I didn't know exactly how I wanted it to look. Basically all I knew is I wanted to get as creative with planters as possible, so I wanted a bunch of different kinds of planters. This was also my first PC build, so it was fun to experiment with a place everywhere a bit and kind of rotate objects and do a little more with that kind of stuff. So I even have this idea, which sprouted from finding these, I think it's technically a door that you can open, but we're not going to talk about it. But I found these chain link pieces from Kuro, or one of the mods, and I was like, what if we had like vines or something growing up them in the greenhouse? And the gourds work perfectly because they're vines and they could realistically grow upwards because the gourds aren't that heavy. So I threw in the gourds and the gourd flowers. These are again from CVC. Most of these crops are, and kind of built them up. And then I threw on this ladder from the Kuro Tab next to it just to make it look so settlers could actually get up there and harvest them easier. We have another custom planter with this wood bucket from CVC, as well as this little dirt mound from Kuro Tab that I sized down and squeezed in there. I will definitely use this trick for like potted plants and stuff like that in the future. I think it looked really cool. And then some more custom planters are of course these tire planters. I've been seeing a lot of users, I think like Great Grandpa Gamer is a good example of this, of using the wires and connectors to hang stuff, and it always looks super cool. So I threw in a few tires and then I used a bunch of different power connectors. Let's see if I can find one. I sized them down to make them fit better, but there we go. Well, maybe I didn't size these ones down, but oh well. I squeezed them in there after connecting all the wires, and I thought it looked really cool. There's a couple different, oh my god, it's a couple different tire types to make them actually look functional, of course. And they just kind of fill in a lot of the space here. This planter is from CVC. It's like a sideways locker, another kind of custom fun planter. And then I just kind of threw some potatoes and other stuff onto this one since I didn't have the like potatoes anywhere else in these kind of crop plots. And that's how the greenhouse came together. I think it looks super cool. I love getting creative, and I feel like now that I'm on PC, I can get a lot more creative when it comes to like the different planters and fun details and stuff like that. Over next to this, I didn't trust putting a stove in here because it was a lot of wood. I just didn't like the idea of it, so I installed this one out here instead. They can kind of do their grilling and such out here. I love this. It's from CVC, and I'm pretty sure it's an exact replica of the one that you see in the loading screen, which I really like. And then I just kind of threw some other little personalized effects over here as well. And then up the stairs here is the last of our little sleeping areas. Not much going on in this one. It was mostly a bed. I knew I wanted a double bed up here. Super simple when it comes to decorations. There's a couple CVC beds. I used this trash bin fence back here from CVC as a headboard. I wanted to get, it's a scrapyard, so they had to get creative with furniture and such. And then these are just some supports that I put to kind of block this front area, make it look more built together. This rug is from from the Kuro Tab, I think, and I thought it looked just like a blanket. I do hate how square it is. Personally, I would have liked if they made it look a little rougher around the corners, but it fits well. I kind of hid the back edges with the pillows a little bit to kind of help in that sense. Then we just have some basic, just homey clutter. I got a little cash stash back there, some weapons, reading materials, again another damn ashtray because everyone smokes in my builds apparently, and then a little coat rack and such too. My idea was Sanctuary, which all of my builds are going to be connected. They may not be in the same save, but I'd like them to be in the same world to think. So even though my Sanctuary build is not across that bridge, I'd like to imagine it as so. So in my idea with Sanctuary is that they got a lot of their salvaged materials and stuff from the vault since it's so close. So I'd like to throw a little nod to that back in here with some vault tech kind of stuff in here as well. And that is about it for up here. Back here there's not much. I just kind of threw some random junk and vines just to fill in back here. What sucks about a lot of this stuff that I had to place is I had to like rotate it so it fit the like slope of the roof, which was kind of annoying. And that's why there's not that much up here, because I didn't feel like doing that with every single thing that I placed. But we just added a bunch of trash and junk back here just to make it look more blended and fitted in. I threw these buildings on here, and at first they were really just like buildings slapped on top of a roof, and I didn't like that, so a lot of these trash pieces and stuff like that really helped kind of make it look more believable in the Fallout universe. Our last step is inside the scrap post in here. First we'll pass through this little other pile of junk. This is where I shoved another cooking station, because like I said, I like to have one of every workbench, pretty much. Makes it feel more settlement-esque. And then just some more clutter. I had a lot of fun with rotating objects and stuff. Oh, hi, floating bucket. Where do you go down here? But really, I found everything that looked junky in my menus and kind of piled it up over here. It's technically the 50s. Yeah, exactly. Everyone smokes. It's fine. But oh, and I like the ice cooler out here. I moved it. I think it was back where I put my bathroom. So I wanted to keep it because it's very gas station. And then in here, I wish this door was closed. Spoilers.
Got a dangerous look about you. Hope you ain't here for me.
I am. I'm not going to kill you because you look really cool. But in here is kind of the trading post where you go to buy and sell your scrap. Perfect for the caravans and traders to come through. So we just have a bunch of different clutter. I actually closed this door off because I didn't like how many entrances this building had. It didn't make much sense to me. And I knew I wanted a bit of stuff back over here, so I just blocked it off. These chains actually function pretty well in that they are also a door that doesn't work, but it blocks from settlers to be able to open this door, so that's kind of nice. What's up, Sean? We are almost through actually with the tour. We're finally to the inside, but I appreciate you stopping in. And then this I turned into a workshop, but we'll get to that at the end. This guy is actually assigned to a mat from Busy Settlers. Yeah, it's kind of fun, right? I've had the ability to use a webcam this whole time. I'm just lazy or like didn't feel like putting it on. My boyfriend's setup is right there, so I don't know if he always wants to be in the background, so I don't always use it. But hey, what's up, Z-Man? And you can see my dogs. I don't know if you can see that one, snoozing over there, but she's a stinker. It's fun. Why not? But in here, like I said, is the trading post. So it's where you can come in. They have a place to weigh the scrap back here, which is kind of fun. This sign also took absolutely forever to make because I had to resize and hand place all of these letters. All of this is from the Kuro Tab, by the way. Oh yeah, I was going to show Busy Settlers because I am newly obsessed with this mod. This and Housekeeping because they both are kind of the same things. You want to try what? The Busy Settlers or like a scrapyard? Or a webcam? Whoa. Sorry I'm late working on a new silent tour video. No worries. We're just chilling. It was an early stream. Like I said on Discord, the only reason I really wanted to tour this so badly, so quickly, is so I can start working on other stuff. So I know it's early. We might do Final Fantasy later too, so maybe you can hit that one. A webcam? Why not? It's kind of fun. A little more interactive, you know? But in here, clutter-wise, I really just threw a bunch of different piled junk. I kept this, which was already in here. I added this little wagon. I don't remember which of my mods I found this in, but I love him. He's my favorite. He says Red Rocket on him. Look at him. And then I threw some other just kind of stacked newspapers and stuff in there. Thought it was perfect. This kind of stacked storage clutter. I actually got inspired for this specifically from one of Lightska's videos. His like 3x3x3 challenge. He had a lot of storage just stacked up in different piles, and I just really liked how it looked. And I'm like, I always try to put different stuff with different stuff. Like I would never put 3 different first aid kits piled on top of each other, but when you do, it kind of just it works. It makes sense. Like in this scrap post where we're selling stuff, why wouldn't they sell things to store your scrap in? You know what I mean? I thought it looked cool. The way station itself, I thought came out super cool too. We put together the furniture and stuff on one of the streams of this series, but like cluttering it and decorating it was all done off stream, and I am super happy with how it came out. These especially I thought were a really fun inclusion. So these are actually like, oh, don't mind the scrap sticking to it, but these are console drawers, like from the computer consoles. And size down, they actually fit perfectly on these. Oh, hello? Something going on outside? What is it? You good? I heard barking out there, so I think she heard it too. But they honestly almost fit perfectly in here, like little slide out drawers. Or like, you know, like the IKEA shelving that has like the little fabric like drawers. I have a bunch of those, but it looks like that. And I thought it was a really nice touch and fit with the kind of color scheme in here too. So very fun ad there. Everything else is just kind of different component clutter. I used the same trick as I did upstairs with putting the crate into the counter, mostly because I was tired of decorating shelves and I didn't want to I didn't want to decorate anymore. So why not just slap a crate in there to block it off? I'll have to give that a try. Find out what's going on with Place Anywhere. Is it Place Anywhere or Place Everywhere? I know on PC and I think on console too, it has to be like placed at a very certain spot in your load order. Like it's kind of finicky. So definitely like read like in the Nexus, like on Nexus, read the description of every mod super carefully because some of them it's very determined on where you put it in your load order. But scrap wise in here, I love the little chalkboard. I'll possibly have a chalkboard in like every single one of my settlements. I made a cool one in Sanctuary with the job board in the recruitment center. And this one I just put on like some top selling scrap. And then I made sure to include all of that scrap here on the table. So we even got the TV tray down here. Vortex listed as for you. Yeah, I mean, definitely just double check on Nexus what it says and make sure that Vortex did it properly because I can guarantee that's probably what it is. Or it's another one of your mods that is conflicting with Place Everywhere. I'm no expert. I'm still getting used to PC modding myself, but I know a lot of it is load order. And I use a different, I don't use Vortex either, so I can't really help you there. These little add-on touches I thought were nice too. The little clipboards up here. And then I just threw this like dead poster on top of it. The hardest part about this though was I had to angle and rotate the poster to fit onto the clipboard. So this was honestly like a 5-minute project. I was just trying to get this piece of paper on the clipboard, which is why I point it out now because it took me forever. But it was worth it, right? Please tell me it was worth it. And then most of this is just like I want you to think of as scrap that somebody is trying to trade or they're selling or just hasn't been sorted into either the workshop or the storage or the smelting area yet. Why are they all what are you guys doing over here? They shouldn't be hanging out by the big fire pit. You're gonna burn yourself, ma'am. You're supposed to be in the robot workshop. It's definitely worth it. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. I needed some affirmation there. I like the stuff on the scales. Yeah, it needed something. I found these little CVC light bulbs that fit just right on there. And then back here, most of this stuff was already here. I just added onto it. So I threw like some different crates. This garage diagnostic thing. Some equipment that they can diagnose onto it. And then there was already a tool rack back here. I can't remember if it was on this wall. I think it was on this wall. But I found this piece from CVC that had all this deco and the tools already placed onto it. And I said, hey, that's one less thing I have to do by hand. So I threw that into here and it looks great. I think matches the like diner tables that were already in here before. So it fits pretty well in the space. The last room, and I do have an auto door on here, so it does shut by itself, which is kind of nice. Looks better by hand. It usually does most of the time. Like a lot of this stuff is more hand placed, other than like that piece and this piece from CVC. All the rest is kind of hand placed. Most of this is hand placed. I was getting burnt out on the hand place. And I really just needed something easy and throw together. I found this scrolling through some stuff in CVC and I went, yep, that's the one. It's going right there. But granted, now if I go to use that in another build, I'll be like, oh, but I already used that at Red Rocket, so I don't really want to use it again. So I totally get you. When it comes to hand place, usually it comes out looking a lot more original and oriented better. This office I kept mostly the same. Like all this was already here. This back piece was already here. I just added the cabinets to match and then just some more junk and clutter all over the place. I really liked this bulletin board. It's in CVC. It's not in console CVC, but it is in PC CVC and I'm obsessed with it. I will definitely use this bad boy again and I don't care if I've used it before. You have the same exact reaction with that place when I was working on. Always loved discovering. Yeah. CVC is one of those, and like I just said, like from console to CVC, there's so much different about it too. So like, just even coming onto PC for the first time and scrolling through the menus, I was like, oh shit, that's new. I'm gonna use that one. Hand placing ensures that you won't have the same setup twice. Exactly. But I can't help myself, and I'm lazy sometimes. Sue me. But the office came together pretty simply, like I said. I like the inclusion of the Mechanist poster back here because the next room we're going to, I had this idea initially for the settlement too, is this robot workstation. In Sanctuary, I actually had a couple robots working the farms. I love the idea that when the Minutemen found Grey Garden, they were like, why don't we have robots tilling all of our fields? Like, it makes perfect sense. And then with, of course, the Automatron DLC, you have the ability to make robots. So why wouldn't the Minutemen include that into their itinerary? So I love the idea of the Minutemen using all of this readily available scrap that they are storing and buying and selling to also make little robot workers for their settlements. So that's the kind of idea behind the settlement and was like the primary reason for even making a scrapyard in the first place was this idea right here. And this actually came together mostly on stream too. One of the last streams that I posted a VOD for on YouTube, if you want to check out how this came together, I did mostly on stream and then I just cluttered it. And then clutter wise, I had a pretty good color scheme. So I decorate by color a lot. So when it comes to a room, if I throw a couple different furniture pieces down, I go, okay, let's try to match the decoration to said color scheme. So in here, I was kind of stuck with the workbench. I could have moved it, but it made sense in here because I was doing a workshop anyway. And then I added the robot workbench, which has this kind of light blue color, as well as bringing in some of those reds with like the wiring and stuff. So I was like, okay, let's go with like a red, blue, gray kind of color scheme, and it worked out super well in here, I think. So we added this console tower, which I explained I found. This is from that junk wall pack, I believe, too, because I knew I wanted some consoles in here, whether they were functioning or not, or just scrap material. I knew I wanted them in here. So we kind of built off that with some other console pieces, as well as these red console pieces from the Kuro Tab. These look a little bit more functioning. And then that gave us the blue and red kind of colors, so it worked perfect. And then I just cluttered this area with a bunch of different robot parts. We have this one, as well as a spark effect from SOE. Just you know, just a little pizzazz. And then this one actually already had the robot clutter on top of it too, so it was perfect. So this is all just kind of scrap area. I threw a bunch of these different CVC power fittings and deco onto the walls, as well as some cord bundles from the Kuro Tab, just because I wanted to really clutter the walls and everywhere in this space up, make it look super like sci-fi and robot-y, if that makes sense. And then I found this sign, I think in Snappy, this fast coolant recharge, which worked perfect for the red rocket look. And the rest was just kind of, we got this pod for this protection, and this is actually a scavenging station from either CVC or Housekeeping that my red rocket lady is supposed to be working at. Which, do you notice even that red rocket outfit is blue and red? I mean, come on. It was perfect. I actually kind of want to fast travel real quick just to see if I can get rid of whatever the hell is going on over here right now. Hold on. Let's see if this puts her back in her place. I realized I said I was going to look at the busy settlers and housekeepers like twice, that mod, and I never went back through it. So I'll show that in a second too. But there she is. So that piece is actually like an assignable scavenging station, and it actually works as such, but it looks like she's working on the robot, which I think is super cool. Way more issues with settler pathing. Totally get it. Hasn't really been an issue with this one, but I don't have any crazy like walkways or anything in this one. they make it onto the roof, but they don't really go into any of the buildings and such, which is fine. I'm sure if I assigned them to one of these spaces that I'm about to show, it would kind of, they would just kind of spawn up there. Like they never really walk to some of these spaces sometimes. But I could see that being a problem if you have your own custom like walkways or bridges and stuff like that. Because sometimes there's really not like a nav mesh for them to walk on with that kind of stuff. The last little space over here was just this workbench table from CVC. It's actually like a weapons workbench without any of the top stuff. Thought it was a perfect fit because it was that kind of bluish color. And then I threw in some oil for the robots. These poster frames were already here beforehand, so I just threw on some different posters. I just kind of cluttered it up over here. Another smoking spot, because you know. And I did learn that these poster frames are actually this, which was already here beforehand. This like Nuka-Cola thing. So in CVC, which is good to know because I really love using these poster frames and I want to use them again. So in CVC, I believe it's in CVC. It's somewhere weird. It's like kitchen or something. Food and drink? No, it's in spaces. Hold on. So in kitchen, for whatever reason, you can find this poster, which is super nice because if you then rotate this poster backwards, you literally have a poster frame, which is fantastic. So I'm definitely going to use these frames again in future builds with said premise. Now, finally going to check out what I was trying to share earlier. Let me take a quick drink too. I've been yapping. It's a yap kind of day. Busy Settlers and Housekeeping, my new kind of favorite mods. Housekeeping has a bunch of different of the scavenging stations, so like the workbenches and stuff that I've shared, these are all from Housekeeping. And you can assign settlers to them, and it'll act as a scavenging station, but it'll look like they're doing different stuff. So I believe this one's probably like putting mail in the mailbox. We got some pipes that they probably work on. I don't know for sure. We have cleaning. I don't know what this one does, but I'm kind of curious. Let's find out. Because I'm pretty much through with the tour anyway. Settlers? Settlers. Are you all on the roof? Oh, settlers. Oh well. Let's see if this guy will use it.
Lost track of how many blisters I got.
Did ya? Alright, use this.
Okay.
Like now. Like immediately. Like I told you to do something and you're not doing it. Thanks, buddy. No? I'm telling you. I don't know where they find these people at. But I give them one simple trash can job. I can't figure it out. This is why I have him leaning on a wall right now. It's not fit to do anything else, I guess. Oh, he's got a little broom.
My back
Look at that.
hurts, my feet hurt, everything hurts.
That's kind of fun. Bad storm internet out. Uh-oh. Godspeed.
Got it.
We had lots of cool options in here. Got a counter, probably cleaning the counter. Tool chest. Lots of really cool options here. Watering a plant is kind of fun. There's a console. Oh, I guess there's different kind of consoles I could have used too, but I don't know if I like the gray. I don't know what the car is. But like I said, there's a lot of really cool ideas here. And then Busy Settlers is the other one where they are more, where we have workbenches and then these little invisible mats. We got a bartender. We got berry gathering. There's a butcher one. Clipboard with pen. That's where I got this one, which was leaning. It was kind of difficult to tell which way was which and like how far it needed to be on the wall for him to be actually leaning on it. So it took a couple tries of like placing it down, but I finally got him on there and he just kind of hangs out there now. That's his job. Like I said, this is probably one of my new favorite mods. I will definitely be using this a lot. Will settlers always cooperate? No, absolutely not. Sometimes it helps to kind of like either fast travel back to the settlement is one of my go-tos, or sleeping sometimes helps too. Like I honestly kind of want to sleep, like a good sleep. Let's go to nighttime. We'll do a little tour at night of this place and then we'll probably head out for now. Good hour-long tour of the place. I think that's pretty solid. See, let's go to like late at night. I want it to be dark. Gives me a water break too.
You hear about that farm run by ghouls? Isn't that something?
All right. Okay, you're not a caravaner, but you can hang out. That's fine, I guess. It's not even that dark yet either. Hold on. What time is it? It doesn't get dark till after 9 o'clock in this game. That shows you how often I never play at night.
Another day of hard work.
Here we go.
Never changes.
Oh yeah, this place looks great at night. With the lighting effects and such too. Oh, it's gonna rain too. Look at that. The ambiance. I'm gonna go into free cam and we'll just kind of explore around because I've never seen this settlement at night either, which is kind of exciting. Oh, I left some doors open, but that's fine. Oh, we got one. He's coming in hot. I don't know why he's going back there, but whatever. It's not my Brahmin. Oh, this place looks great. I did just realize with the lighting effects, I usually like the warmer lights, like the more yellow lights, and I used a cool one over there, but it's not the end of the world. It's cool. It's fine. Oh, I might have done that on purpose because the lights over there are more white looking. This place looks pretty good at night, I would say. I wish I could have got it to where a caravan is actually here because it does look nice when they're here. They actually use the little seating area back here. But that's the build, y'all. I think it came out super cool. We now will say goodbye to it because I desperately want to change up my load order a little bit. We're going to change the landscape mod specifically. I've always used Boston Natural Surroundings. It's one of my favorites, but I kind of want to switch things up. There are way more options on PC, so we're possibly going to try a different one. Specifically, I don't like this version of Boston Natural Surroundings. The grass is a little too grass, and the color of it's off too. So it like adjusted the color of the grass. So now when I want to like place my own grass, like I love to do, I love landscaping in my settlements. It's gonna be hard to tell because it's now at night, of course. But like if I were to go into like, let me think, SOE has some good grass. So say I go into SOE and I want to place some more grass in an area, I scrap something and it doesn't look right. I don't have this grass as an option to place. Like Boston Natural Surroundings added this grass. So even when I place my own, the color doesn't really match. Even like in CVC, the CVC grass there, the color just doesn't mend well with whatever this grass is. So I definitely am going to be changing up the landscape mod for sure. And then I have a couple different like workshop mods I also want to add. I have like a list of mods that I need to like go through, decide if I want or not. I may drop USO. I've never really liked USO. It adds a lot of useful items, don't get me wrong. Like even for this build, it added these shopping cart turrets, and don't get me wrong, it's like even worth saving just for this. But I feel like USO always screws up my menus in some way or another. I always have some sort of like workshop menu issue whenever I have USO installed, especially on console. Like it always conflicted with something because of the way it like removes things from the vanilla menus and into its own menu, which is nice and organizes it. But if you're someone like me, I'd rather just dig through the menus instead of like rearranging and doing stuff like that, because usually it ends up kind of ruining my load orders. So I'll probably say goodbye to USO, and then I have a couple other ones I want to add. I wasn't able to get to work on Xbox. Yeah, it's on Xbox specifically, especially after some of the updates they've done on Xbox, it just doesn't run well. It's a great mod. I love how it unlocks everything for you. It has like different like patterns and like custom furniture options. It puts like the paintings and like flags onto the furniture, which I think is really cool. And I'd like to use these more often. But at the same time, is this worth like not being able to use some other mod? You know what I mean? So for the rest of the day today, until I decide if and when I want to stream again later tonight, will be me just like tweaking my load order. I'm just going to go through it, decide, am I keeping you? Am I not keeping you? Of course, the ones that are going to stay are like CVC, of course. Those two that I just mentioned, Busy Settlers and Housekeeping. We got like, oh, I probably won't keep OCDecorator either. A lot of issues with that mod specifically that I've learned recently, especially on PC. And then like placing junk is so easy on PC. This I would recommend for someone on console if you're not going to way overclutter a settlement. But realistically, at the end of the day, not really worth it. Especially post update, this mod's had a lot of issues, so that's one that's definitely going. Snappy House Kit will stay, of course. Thematic and Practical will stay. Cozy Scavver I kind of like, and the Kuro Tab, of course, will stay. And then full transparency, I do have a mod that is not available to the public. It is more of a private mod from a friend that kind of let me use it. So there are certain items like in future builds that I might be like, sorry. The main reason that mod is private is because it does include some like 76 assets and such. So really only kind of lets friends use it just in case doesn't like posting it to Nexus mods due to kind of issues with that kind of porting and stuff that's been in the past. So if there's something in this build that you don't know, like I think one thing for sure, like this guy right here is from that mod. It's just a different kind of a design for the Vault-Tec suit box that's on that mod. So unfortunately that's something that you might not be able to use, but it could possibly exist in another mod. I'm not an expert because some stuff in that mod is like it's a collection from other mods, it's custom made items, and it's imported items from 76. So I do want to be fully transparent that I do use that private mod, and I will not share it because it is not my mod to share, unfortunately. But I try not to use it that often for that reason because it's not available to simply everyone. But I think that's it for the tour, guys. I hope you enjoyed Red Rocket. We will now say goodbye to Red Rocket because we will be going to a different save. Before I get off today, I'm going to take a few more pictures and screenshots, and then I will get to work on customizing my load order, which is exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream or you enjoyed the VOD if you're watching over on YouTube, and I will see you guys in the next one.